Jax here from Legend Brands. We're always grateful to hear from our customers and want to remind you that if a technical question arises, don't hesitate to reach out. Our team is some of the cleaning and restoration greats, and they never mind taking a call. Of course, we're also making a conscious effort to answer more of these questions here on our YouTube channel. We've launched videos on daily maintenance of a Legend Brands truck mount, then pull out the filter basket and clean all the debris and sediment out. Keys to effective drying
breaks down like this. First, start with plenty of air movers to assist with evaporation and circulation among the wet areas.
At least one air mover for every 60 square feet of wet surface area.
Even how to set up air movers. Our goal is to create a circular drying system so that the air continues to move, which will help it dry more quickly. Ideally, we have a dehumidifier to assist in the process since it removes moisture from the wet air. You can always search our channel or simply click on the video tab and scroll down to see some of the topics covered. Today, we're going to discuss one of the more common technical calls we receive, which concerns browning and/or wicking on both carpets and upholstery. When either of these conditions occur, there's one common denominator. Too much water was left on the fiber or fabric, and this will increase the possibility of either the cellulosic browning or the residue wicking conditions. Even though both conditions occurred from too much water being left behind, meaning slow drying conditions, the source of each of these conditions is different. Cellulosic browning can occur on only plant-based cellulosic fibers such as cotton, linen, rayon, as well as jute, hemp, and sisal, and is quite different than the residue wicking commonly found on synthetic carpet. This is not to say you cannot have cellulosic browning on synthetic carpet fibers. In some situations, such as water damage, the water has traveled across numerous wood surfaces. Since the wood is cellulosic, the water can carry the lignin dissolved from the wood and deposit it on the fiber when the carpet dries. This is a rare occurrence though, but still worth noting. The problem that we as cleaners have is identifying the difference between cellulosic browning and residue wicking. Let's dive in and define them. Cellulosic browning can only occur on fabrics or carpets or even rugs that contain natural fibers such as cotton, linen, and rayon, etc. There are four main causes of cellulosic browning. 1. Cellulosic material. 2. High pH solutions. 3. Too much water. And 4. Slow drying conditions. Cellulosic browning is caused by a breakdown of the cell wall binder found in cellulosic materials called lignin. See, when cellulosic fibers take on and hold on too much water for a long period of time, the water begins to break down or dissolve the cell wall binder that holds the cell together. Think of the lignin as the glue that holds the cells together. The hollow core or center of the cell is called the lumen. This is where the plant received all its nutrients when it was growing, so it can take on and hold a lot of water. As the water begins the slow evaporation process, it carries some of this lignin to the surface. And when the water completely evaporates, the lignin is left behind as a residue, which we call cellulosic browning. Cellulosic browning can take on a variety of shades. The most common is tan to yellow color and sometimes slightly pinkish. All right. Let's move on to wicking, which normally appears on synthetic carpet fibers and in some cases, synthetic upholstery fibers. Wicking normally occurs on fibers or fabrics that have a high amount of deeply embedded soils. In carpets, most of the soils are dry particulate soils, meaning they're insoluble. Remember, insoluble means they're incapable of being dissolved. Wicking can also be caused by a high amount of detergent residue left on the fibers or fabrics. In either case, a large amount of water is normally used to try and remove these dry, insoluble soils or detergents. When high amounts of water are used to try and clean these fibers or fabrics, these synthetic fibers, as well as the soil residue or detergent residue, are exposed to water for a long period of time, slowly dissolving and breaking down some of these soils into a liquid form and is then carried to the surface with the water as it evaporates from the fiber. All right, now that we know the differences, you'd likely ask, how do we fix them? Cellulosic browning. True cellulosic browning can be easily corrected with a light mist application of Prochem Urine Rescue that's then lightly agitated with a brush or towel. If you're trying to correct cellulosic browning on upholstery or rugs, remember two things. Less is better. Do not saturate the fabric. Also, You have to treat the entire piece, meaning if you treat a cushion, you must treat the entire chair or sofa. Spot treatment is not recommended. Now, if you are treating a water stain on synthetic carpet, apply the urine rescue about as heavy as you would your pre-spray and brush into the fiber and allow to dry. Yeah, that's it, wicking. Wicking that is caused by soil or detergent residue can be easily corrected with a top clean approach, such as bonnet cleaning, otherwise known as absorbent pad cleaning. This method is normally used as an interim maintenance cleaning process and is done by pre-spraying the carpet with a bonnet cleaning solution and then running a treated bonnet or absorbent pad over the surface to collect the soils that were released in the process. This maintenance cleaning approach is designed for light soil loads, meaning the soils are mostly located on the tips of the fibers and have not become deeply embedded yet. So it's easy to remove them with bonnet cleaning. Wicking is the same. The residue is on the surface or tips of the fiber. To correct the wicking, we will take the same concept and use a bonnet for large areas or a towel for small spots. We will dilute Pro-Chem all-fiber rinse powder at 1 ounce per 5 gallons of water into a bucket. Wait. Do not spray the carpet. Any amount of water can cause the residue to wick once again. Dip your bonnet or towel into the diluted all-fiber rinse and then wring it out almost completely. We do not want them to be dripping wet. Put the bonnet on the machine and just buff the soil off the tips of the fiber or place the treated towel on the spot and wipe the residue away. Replace the bonnet or towel as they become soil saturated.
Well, there you have it, another video filled with insight. I love sharing my knowledge.
What do you mean, your knowledge?
I'm practically AI.
Legend Brands.